ten weekend w Bahrajnie poza Formułą 1 ścigać się będzie także oczywiście Formuła 3, a w niej Roman Biliński, a więc nasz polski kierowca, który w trakcie debiutu w Australii stanął na podium. Dlatego nie przedłużając, zapraszam Was na wywiad z Romanem, w którym zdradził wiele ciekawych rzeczy. Warto posłuchać, bo już za chwilę kierowcy wyjadą na tor i będą rywalizować w trakcie tego weekendu, ale myślę, że ta rozmowa może nas bardzo dobrze przygotować do tego, co będzie się działo przez najbliższe 3 dni w Bahrajnie. Zapraszam serdecznie. So, Roman, nice to meet you after first round of F3. But before we'll talk about your sports success, please tell me, did you watch Japan Grand Prix?
I saw the highlights of the Japan Grand Prix.
Lucky you, I think.
Yes, I definitely was asleep. I didn't wake up early for it.
All right, but do you have any thoughts about maybe Max Verstappen hyperlap in qualifying or McLaren struggles?
I think, to be honest, Max is just on another level. In my opinion, the Red Bull doesn't deserve to be on pole position or winning a race. And seeing the comments that no driver apart from Max can do that, honestly, right now, I have to agree. He's just outperforming the car and he's doing a fantastic job.
And what would you do in McLaren's position when they are struggling with team orders and all that stuff?
It's a difficult position, you know, because most teams you have a very clear number 1 driver or number 2 driver. And I think it's difficult for McLaren because you have Lando, who's been there a long time, but then you have Piastri, who's now just been in Formula 1 a couple years, but is proving to be incredibly fast. And it would be difficult for McLaren to say, okay, now we're going to switch the focus more to Piastri, which I think is why they're making this. They've both got 2 number 1 drivers. So I think they're in a difficult position, to be honest.
Would you try to swap drivers on the end of the race to let Oscar run after Max?
Yes, I would try let Oscar have a go at Max, and if he doesn't get it, then give the position back.
All right. All right, so let's get back to your career, because that's why we are talking today. What are your thoughts after Australia? Because I think it's really incredible achievement, the podium in the first race.
Yes, the podium in the first race is really good. Good achievement for myself and for the team. And the feeling is good, to be honest. I think I proved a lot of things, but also the potential was a lot higher, which is a good thing, you know. I ended the weekend in Australia thinking, I wish there was a little bit more, because there was more potential. So I think this is a good thing. Definitely Bahrain is going to be a bit more difficult. I don't think it will be, say, as easy. You know, we've done 3 days of testing in Bahrain now, so everyone is at a high level. But, you know, I will keep giving my best and we will see what happens.
But you have any doubts that you can keep this performance till the next rounds? Chciałem Wam tylko szybko przypomnieć, że jeżeli nie macie zielonego pojęcia, czym jest Formuła 3, jak ona działa, a chcielibyście świadomie śledzić postępy Romana Bilińskiego, to gdzieś tutaj wyskoczy Wam link do filmu, w którym tłumaczę, jak działa właśnie Formuła 3, dzięki czemu trochę łatwiej będzie Wam się oglądało cały weekend rywalizacji z tą serią.
We have to see, you know, it's difficult to say. There's a brand new car in Formula 3, so yeah, the teams are going to be improving. You know, you have teams like Prema and ART who found it difficult in Melbourne. They're very good teams. They're not going to stay there. I'm sure you're going to see them make a massive jump in Bahrain, which is 6 more cars to make it more difficult for us. So, you know, let's hope we can keep the performance going and keep improving. But, I don't know until qualifying.
You are expecting these teams will jump higher, but you will not improve in Bahrain?
No, for sure there's room for improvement. It's just you have 10 very good teams with some very good drivers and very good engineers. And, you just don't know what can happen. Everyone's working all the time to improve. So we have to do our best. We have to focus on ourselves and we see what will happen.
Please tell me what kind of differences are between the F3 teams, because we know Trident is super good team in history, and right now we see this year probably will be good as well. But why they are fast? What are these differences?
I was in Trident last year, so I saw a bit of the F3 team, and they just work very well together. They've got 3 incredible engineers, and they're very experienced and they do work very well together. So yeah, it's just a different thing. But in Rodin we also have 3 exceptional engineers, and I would say we work very well together as well. So it's finding a balance, there's lots of different things.
Do you think these new cars, and do you feel, because I think it is like that, do you think these new cars are really big help for you?
I think it's a good thing because it was a reset for the teams and myself, me stepping up into the category. I think it's a perfect time as there's a new car, because it creates new opportunities. So Rodin struggled before in Formula 3, but now there's a new car. We made some changes in the team. I had to adapt a lot and learn myself, and it put us in a good position. Whereas I think if there wasn't a new car, it would be a little bit more tricky. But no, I'd say it's definitely a good thing.
So what did you learn from the first round in Australia?
I learned F3 is very chaotic, and I've never had a first lap as crazy as the first lap in the sprint race. You have to be on it straight away. There's no build up, time to build. You have to be there. For example, my lap in qualifying my only lap was my first lap, and it had to be there. Otherwise, unfortunately for my teammates, there was a couple mistakes, and then it makes the weekend very difficult if you're not in the top 12. So that first lap needs to be there straight away, and then you can build, but there's no time to, slowly get into it.
And do you think this podium was just a one-off, or it's just a start of the really great results in this season?
I hope it's a start of some really great results. We have to see though. F3 is a championship where nothing's ever plain easy or always the same. There's always something changing, but I think we did a good job. We deserved to be there, and we deserved to be in better positions. So I don't see why we can't get some better results.
After this podium, did you have some nice conversations in the paddock? Do you feel that racing community appreciates what you have done in your first race weekend?
Yes, there were some very nice comments, especially when we had to go in the Formula 1 paddock, seeing Sir Jackie Stewart, and some other XF1 drivers. Plus, just comments in general were very, very nice. So I couldn't ask for more. And then the support online was crazy. My phone was blowing up. So it was amazing.
Were you shocked about your racecraft after these first 2 races? Because, like you said, it's really chaotic thing. But you did overtake. You have defense, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, honestly, And if I'm being completely honest, I went into the first round quite nervous, thinking I don't really know how this is going to be. And that made me nervous. But I believed in myself when I stepped in the car. And I think that was a good thing. I really believed in myself. I said, you do deserve to be here. And I think this put me in a good mentality. And I just worked from here and kept trying to chip away at the drivers in front, kept learning. And this was the main thing.
And after all that chaos, how does it feel to be standing on the podium in Australia, in the same place where the F1 drivers are standing?
It's an incredible feeling. I do have to be honest, I wish it was on the top step of the podium. But no, it is a great feeling.
It's kind of motivation boost.
Exactly. Because I really thought we could have won that race. I was managing the tires for the last 5-6 laps, and I was feeling really quick. And then the safety car comes out, unfortunately, but that's racing.
Did you expect how does paddock look, or was it a bit scary when you get into Australia and see all these people, all these cameras, etc., etc.?
Honestly, a little bit scary. The first time you walk into the F1 paddock is crazy, and I didn't expect, to walk through the paddock and people to know me, and there's fans screaming my name, and I didn't expect it at all, So I was thinking, maybe one person might know me, but it was unbelievable. So yeah, it's a big thing to learn, to embrace it, and it's amazing.
You had testing in Bahrajnie, I believe, 2 weeks ago. So yes. What are your expectations on the Bahrajnie after this testing?
I don't know, to be honest. Testing is really difficult to look at because in Bahrain we had 2 tire compounds, medium and hard. So first of all, it's difficult to know what the other teams are doing, if they're going fast on mediums or hard tires. You don't know what team has more weight in the car. It's tricky to know. I think from our side, it was an okay test. For sure, there's a lot more to learn, as there always is, but we need to see. We will find out in qualifying. Right now, I couldn't tell you top 5, top 10, top 30, I don't know.
But I think you can tell us something about tires and how do you feel with them? Do you learn how this tires works?
Yeah, there's a lot of differences from last year now with the bigger rims. For example, the curbs, you can't take as much because there's less sidewall. So the tire doesn't squish as much and the car's more reactive. Then the race run in Bahrain is very difficult because there's very abrasive and very aggressive track, high temperature. So it's very difficult to manage in the race. So you have to learn this. And then you have to get the tires and you have 1 lap in qualifying. No second lap, no second chance, 1 lap. So it's not easy.
And what about race pace and racing? Dirty air is a thing?
Yes, dirty air is a thing. But I believe if you can manage the tire well, having a better tire versus being in dirty air, I think you would naturally be a lot faster. For example, in Bahrain, there's some race runs where I have managed the tire better. And even though I'm in dirty air, it's still quite easy to pass. But if both drivers manage the tires and then you're in dirty air, then it's going to be difficult.
And what about racing? Because we saw just a little test of your possibilities. Do you think in these cars racing is easy, let's say?
Easy. I can't compare to the last F3 because I didn't race in it, but I would say it's quite good, to be honest. The DRS this year, I believe, is more effective compared to when I tested the last car. When you open the DRS now, you're getting more of more top speed compared to without the DRS. So I think this is good for the racing. So yeah, honestly, it's not too bad.
All right. We talk about lots of good things, but I know that there are some weaknesses. Can you name it?
Yeah, for sure, there's going to be weaknesses in just it being a new car. And being a new car, you don't know everything. And that is something which you have to keep learning on. You know, what the team know now and what the team would know in 4 years is going to be completely different. So it's learning as much as possible, as fast as possible. So this is something for every team though, not just us. Then, you know, in myself, I have to be extremely consistent and on it straight away. You know, there's going to be tracks this year I don't know, and there's no time to learn. In practice, you do maybe 3 laps and you just don't have enough time to learn. So you have to trust yourself, trust the simulator, and already start there. And it's a difficult thing to do mentally, to say, okay, I need to brake so late, and you can't practice it. You just have to go to the corner, first time, trust everything, and brake there. And that's tricky.
So after the first round, do you feel that you have a better mental setup before next rounds?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'm always learning. I'm always trying to be better in myself as a person, not just in the car, but as a general person. So I would say yes, but we have to also see when we get there.
So Roman, we wish you all the best, and we'll keep our fingers crossed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.